Anti-life college student gets schooled by Charlie Kirk at a college Q&A. This is going to be a good video, guys. The abortion issue is one that is very contentious in American politics, and I would argue one of the most important. Now, I understand, probably not you guys, but I understand many people will scoff at this and say, oh, that's ridiculous. Abortion, there are so many bigger issues, but it is a huge issue, all right? When you're talking about, at a minimum, 500,000 Americans losing their lives every year, almost entirely due to people being selfish and not wanting to inconvenience themselves and deciding that taking a life is okay because it makes things easier for them. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty big issue. For all we know, there might have been a future Thomas Edison who might be gone today because of this. And that is not at all to say that that diminishes the value of many other people. The point is, we have probably stifled much of human progress simply because of this barbaric policy that we allow in our great nation. With all that being said, guys, let's get into the video. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, do me a big favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you guys this great, hard-hitting content. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
Hey, Charlie.
How you doing?
I just wanted to reiterate. I think it's good that you're on campus.
Thank
I think
you.
dialogue and discourse is sort of the only way we move forward in a society. So before I ask my question, I just wanted to know your stance on abortion.
Yeah, life begins at conception, and that life should be protected.
So, sure. A little bit about myself. I'm a first-generation immigrant to America.
Welcome to America.
I come from India, and in a lot of ways, considering civil rights and civil liberties, I think our constitutions speak the same. We believe in giving people the power. Regarding abortion in America, and you and I can disagree about when life begins, and frankly, I don't care when you think life begins, but taking a woman's right from her to choose what she wants to do with her body, when you go around campuses with the Live Free banner, how...
Guys, please, I warned you about this. Be respectful. Please continue.
When you tour around with a Live Free banner, you are taking one of the most essential freedoms of a person from them. And how do you respond to that?
Yeah, the baby is not free if it's murdered.
Pat, got him. Love that little Charlie Kirk nod and smile at the end too. Great.
So, every human being deserves a right to live free, and therefore stronger, more developed people should use their power to protect the preborn so that they're able to live. But please respond.
So my interpretation of when life begins and what life is the experiences that people live through. Is it not a burden to bring a child into this world when a parent or a single mother or an expecting mother is not ready for it? I don't think it does society any good. I know I don't have any religious baggage to support a pro-life sort of stance, but how do you think society can in any way benefit from bringing a child into this world who has no one to look after, who doesn't have interest to look after the child?
If you were to guess, I don't want to put you too much, you're coming from a good place. How many abortions do you think there are in America every year? What do you think?
I go 20,000.
Yeah, about 1 million.
Right.
1 million abortions. So just so everyone understands the scale of what's happening, and that's okay. How many people are currently on the adoption waiting list in America?
You can go ahead and answer.
2 million. So there's twice as many people waiting to adopt than abortions we have every year. So the idea of an unwanted pregnancy is not true. Is that there's 2 million families waiting to adopt right now a baby that unfortunately is going to be terminated in an abortion clinic. Does that make sense?
Aside from everything Kirk said, what this guy's argument essentially boils down to is if there is hardship, then screw it. It's not worth living your life. You should just die. That is a very dark and dangerous moral conclusion, and it is not a pretty thing. Y'all ever seen the movie Minority Report? If you haven't, I'd say either watch it or just look it up and you'll get the gist of what I'm getting at here. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. God bless. Back to the video.
I mean, we could stand here all night and disagree, but I think a woman or a man, I think everyone's right to choose what to do with themselves and their bodies trumps anything and everything.
So let me ask, but do you admit that the baby is not her body? It's not like getting a haircut or getting a cosmetic improvement. There's a separate being involved, yes?
And that boils down to your and my interpretation of what that separate being is, and when its life begins. The child is inside the mother's body, and the mother needs to have the right to choose whether she wants to go through it. Why does the location of the being matter to its moral worth? Well, we're not going to get anywhere if we can't agree on when the being comes into existence. You believe that the child is born when it's conceived. I believe a child is born when it lives experiences. That is a
lives experiences. Wait a second. When my baby was 26 weeks old, it would kick in familiarity to my voice, listen to music. So experiences, I mean, and why would you draw that line? Why not at the creation of the deoxyribonucleic acid, the DNA, when the new being's process into full and complete adult human development begins?
I have another question for this dude. Does a woman have 20 fingers and 20 toes? You ask him that, he's probably gonna start laughing, but if it's her own body, obviously she must have 4 hands, 4 feet, 2 heads, etc., etc. It only makes sense.
I wouldn't like to say that you got me dumbfounded, but I think this conversation is essential to what America is.
I agree with you.
And to see what's happened at the Supreme Court, and to see how it's affected young people on my campus, young people around America, young people around the world who resoundingly disagree with what you say.
Around the world.
I believe I'm not going to stand here and change your mind about this issue, but I think we're going to have to agree.
Yeah, just so we're clear, the Supreme Court sent it back to the states. So how the heck did it impact anybody here at Santa Barbara? Abortion is not just legal, it's now a constitutional right in California, so I'm not really tracking on that. Secondly, I'll just say this. You're right. A lot of people think abortion should be legal. Just because a lot of people think something does not make it right. God bless you. Thank you for being here today.
It affected them mentally because now, even though there's really no reason to be fearful, they have a fear of having to face the consequences of their selfish actions. You have people all over the United States who constantly engage in debauchery, having all this sex, thinking, oh, you know, it's no big deal, whatever, you know, it's disgusting. The sexual revolution and its consequences have been terrible for the United States. And you can simply look at the fact that it's cost the lives of at least 500,000 Americans every year to justify that. And there's so many other negative effects, be it with dating, marriage. Our generation is fucked, and I gotta say it because more people need to wake up to this. It is a huge problem, and you have that fertility crisis and so many other things that follow that we can get into at another time. With all that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. What you guys think? Please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you think about the clip, what you think about my thoughts, anything else that you want to see in the future. Whatever, we want to hear it. And we'll see you all again soon. God bless.